Good morning, and welcome to another ironic introduction to another video. I'm going to try to make this a little bit faster as I got a little ranty in the last one. This morning, in 3 a.m. for me, Kabam released this Last Stand Crystal Shards and Daily Specials deal. And so the deal is essentially that if you buy the Daily Special or the Grandmaster Daily Special, you will get 7,000 Last Stand Crystal Shards. And as well as, I'm under the impression that when it says on Sunday, the following has been added to Daily Special offers, you will have the 7,000 Last Stand Crystal Shards and a Dwarf Star Crystal, which is essentially just like an Ultimate Crystal, but with specifically Call Obsidian and Ronin, or as well as a single-handed crystal, which is essentially a Grandmaster Crystal. I believe a Grandmaster Crystal, or a legendary crystal with Call Obsidian and Ronin, both of which are things you would never buy typically, and the 7,000 Last Stand Crystal Shards does not make a difference there. It's still strictly a bad deal. That being said, I do want to go over, I think that Kabam missed out on an opportunity here, as well as just kind of like pointing out why this is a bad deal. So first, I'll go over, I think Kabam missed out on an opportunity. Last Stand Crystal Shards, right, pop up here in the daily special. If they had taken those and attached them to the units on a limit 1, the same way they have already done in this event, I think people would have bought units. I think that units have a static value, and these units are already worth buying. Like, if you need to pick up an extra mastery, if you want to pick up some energy refills because you're like, man, I really want to sit down and play for 3 hours and crank out the story, maybe you throw 10, 30 bucks on, get some energy refills, and play. And there's a lot to be said for that, looking at this as an arcade style game mentality, right? Pay to play a duration of time. And that would have made this sweet, right? It's a chance roll at something good. There's a reasonable chance at it, but still lottery roll. It's not very good, but I'll go over that in a moment. And if they were in the units, I would personally have bought maybe the Peter Parker's wallet as well as Tony Stark's briefcase, depending on how they did the scaling. I would even make the argument that it would have made taking the opportunity to buy units now worth it. Just because even though you could just get gold, the fact is it's still a nice tack onto something static. This $5 special deal is something you would never buy. The only time I think this is worthwhile is if you are a whale who's spending money every single day regardless, or if you are a brand new player. Like, I did buy a couple of these when I started, and that is because a 2-star champion has value to a brand new player, especially a class you don't own yet, and there is a small chance, 40%, that you will get better than a 2-star champion. And so for new players with no roster, this is actually a solid deal because you get an arena, you get potentially a better champion to help you progress. I bought, I think, 3 or 4 of these starting out over the course of a week. And the fact of the matter is, beyond that, the Last Stand Crystal Shards does not make this such a good deal that you want to buy it. And the reason for that is that this is a lottery. First off, you're not even getting a full crystal, right? Like, the greater Last Stand crystal costs 10,000. It makes no sense. Like, if you're going to stick that in there, Kabam, stick it in at 10,000 so that it's a solid crystal every time. It just feels bad if you're going to buy it. Like, I conveniently have enough, but if you're going to buy it and then you can't even afford to buy the crystal you want, it just makes no sense. It should be either 5,000, so you have to buy 2, or 10,000, so you can buy 1. 7,000 adds up to 49,000 over the course of 7 days, so it logistically makes no sense, as you're going to, if you're that one person who happens to have 0 and you get screwed out by 1,000 shards, that feels miserable. Why would you do that to people? Nice clean numbers are nice and clean for a reason, is all I'm trying to say. So quickly, I've already gone over the percentage of things that are good in here. And keep in mind that I'm just going to quick run down through here and then tell you what the percentage adds up to. So if you look at these, I'm sure you've already are more than well accustomed to this. I think Tier 1 Alpha Catalysts, not a good draw. Tier 4 Class Catalysts are worth. Tier 4 Basics, I think not worth, considering you can farm them in an arena. Tier 2 Alpha Catalysts, definitely worth. Tier 4 Class Catalysts, definitely worth, even as fragments. Tier 5 Basic, that's a god draw. Tier 4 Basic Catalyst, that's, something you definitely don't want to see. It's not the worst, but again, not something I think you want to see when you're paying US dollars for it. Let me be clear that this opinion is based on when you're paying actual money for it. 5-star hero crystals are great. 4-star hero crystals are great, unless you're like a vet player, and then 4-star hero crystals are kind of like but I'm going to assume, somewhere in the average, so I'm going to say they're still great. 5-star awakening gem, that's the dream. 4-star awakening gem, that's good enough. And then nothing good. comes out to 39%. That's my rundown for when you're spending US dollars. That's where I value those. That being said, a roughly 40% chance to get something valuable is not good enough to make a $5 deal worth buying. But if you need some ISO, you are a brand new player, or you are a whale, nothing wrong with buying this, right? I'm not saying it's such a bad deal that you shouldn't buy it. I'm simply saying that this is not such a good deal that you should. I don't intend to buy it. You know that I am happy to spend money on this game. Actually, at the moment, I am a little dry for the rest of the month, just because I've already spent what I would allot to this game, and I don't want to spend any more, at least until the start of the new month. But sometimes if there is a deal that's good enough at the end of the month, I will kind of like fudge the numbers and pretend it's part of the next month. But this is not a good enough deal that I would buy it. I actually have $15 left on a gift card, and I still have no intention of buying this. But that's my opinion. Don't let me tell you wrong. If you open one of these and you get a 4-star hero, feel free to tell me. Brag about it. Tell me you won the lottery. You bought the Last Stand Crystal Shards and you got a 5-star Awakening Gem. I would love to hear someone win the lottery. But remember that it's the lottery you're playing, and I don't want to play the lottery. I believe in safer bets. And I'll talk to you guys later.